Psychological safety sounds great in theory, but what does it look like and sound like in practice? Let's take a look at a team that demonstrates psychological safety.
Thanks for joining, everyone. I know we've had an incredibly busy week. Before we get started, a quick public service announcement. If you need to hop off early to give yourself a break in between meetings, please do so. I totally understand. With that, let's get started. Today we're talking about next week's event. Can I get a status update from everyone on where we are with our prep for next Tuesday?
So I'll get us started. We've lined up all of our speakers and met with everyone to talk through their participation in the panel. We had one issue where we hadn't clarified the time zone with our speaker from the West Coast, so they aren't going to be able to attend. Thankfully, Daryl had a contact with similar expertise, so we were able to replace that speaker and are set with all of our panelists. So again, Daryl, thank you so much for your help.
I'm really glad we were able to pivot, Shannon. Time zones can be tricky, so great job. Let's put our heads together at our next one-on-one on ways we can ensure that we take time zone into account for future events.
On my end, we have about 40 people registered for the event, and we'll continue to advertise it on our social channels. One trend we've noticed is that we're seeing our audience click on our posts, but when they are shown the event time, our registration rates are pretty low. Jack, can you tell me a bit more about how we landed on this start time for the panel?
Great question, Daryl, and thanks for bringing it up. The panel was actually scheduled to start in the morning because we wanted to see what kind of attendance we'd get. I know we typically get pretty high registration rates for events scheduled at night, but I'd like to see if our attendance rate is actually higher for sessions during the day, even if we have a lower overall registration rate. After the event, we can take a look at our metrics and see how it plays out. I may very well be wrong, but I think it's good to know either way.
I thought I'd add to that. Jack's decision to try the morning event was partly based on my recommendation. We offered morning events at the last company I worked for, and while we found that registration was lower, attendance rates were a bit better, and it was a little easier to find panelists during the workday. My company had a different clientele though, so I'm not sure if this will work out. I have another meeting right after this one, so I'm going to hop off quickly. Thanks, everyone.
Not a problem, Rick. And as a reminder, please give yourself some time in between meetings, even if it means you need to hop off early. We can always tag up later and get caught up if need be. It sounds like we're on track. Thanks for keeping me in the loop, and don't hesitate to reach out if anything else comes up as we get closer to the event. Have a good one, y'all.
This team showed many tenets of psychological safety throughout their conversation. First, the team clearly demonstrated curiosity, both in Jack being open to questions and Daryl's comfort asking his question. We could also see that Jack is leading his team to be inclusive, shown by Rick's ability to incorporate his perspective from a previous company, even though it was different than what Jack's team had done in the past. Jack is also fostering trust in this team, shown by his assumption that Rick leaving the meeting early was due to his busy schedule. Finally, Shannon's response to her mistake with the time zone shows that Jack and his team treat mistakes as opportunities to learn, fostering resilience. Jack reinforced this focus on growth by discussing productive next steps with Shannon to discuss strategies for avoiding the issue in the future. Altogether, this team's psychological safety results in a team that demonstrates their collaboration, communicates clearly, and can productively engage conflict and mistakes.